What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Hockeytown University with a brand new episode. You are here with me once again, Zack, with a brand new microphone. It's nice. And with my lovely co-hosts, you are here with Derek and Matt. What's up, boys? How's it going?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Living a wonderful day in this 45-degree weather in Michigan. It's almost summer. I feel it in my bones. I love it right now.
Glad to see you guys are getting weather like I am, too, here in Holy Toledo. Leslie?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I got nothing new going on. Let's get into the episode.
Well, then,
I ain't got
all
shit going on.
I like it. All right. Well, to start things off, I guess we'll get right into it. But as always, we welcome you guys. Thanks for joining us once again. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, smash the like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think about the episode. Let us know what you guys would like to hear on future episodes. Let's get into it. The Red Wings yesterday, as we record Wednesday night at 7:23 p.m. currently, played against the Nashville Predators, ended up losing 2-1. The Red Wings were able to score a late goal with about, 3 minutes left in the third period. So Alex Chiasson, our boy, our power play wonder, Derek, what do you think about it, buddy?
Oh, I was saying, I feel like we got to sign him to a 1 year still. This kid is doing some wonders down there. I mean, I can't say he's a kid. He's old as crap. And this is his many of years in the NHL, but he is doing some wonders down low for us. Even if that goal might have been a slight kick in, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to take that as a win. They called it good. The guy got his third power play goal in 3 games in a row. It's looking good for Chiasson, I would say, for the Red Wings. I like it.
Would you even consider that a kick-in, considering that he pretty much just tried to get himself up after falling, or at least almost falling to the ice?
I mean, they said it was a goal, so I'm not going to argue it.
I'll take it. Leslie?
I just think it's so funny whenever Derek talks about Chiasson, he calls him kid. And it reminds me of every press conference that Dana White has. He just calls every single fighter kid. Oh, this kid's going places. This kid can fight. But this isn't a UFC podcast. We talk hockey here, so I'll switch back to that. After that performance, I mean, he was the lone goal scorer, and he definitely excels in that power play role. We're just getting up in the net front and trying to bang one in. And I actually tweeted out last night, I was half joking about this, but I think he just earned a league maximum contract. This dude, all he's done since he's got up is scored on the power play too, which we have not been scoring on the power play. So that is a very nice change of pace. So I'm kind of changing my tune from whatever it was 2 days ago, I think, when I said, oh, let's just have one of our young guys fill his role. Let's
you said
keep
Marco
him another
Kasper.
year or two, and you don't have to sign him to too much money, but I'm over on your guys' side now. Re-sign the guy, give him, I don't know, $1 million, $950K, and let him keep doing what he's doing.
I think also, one of the main reasons, like we talked about, that you would be doing it is because of the net front presence, and especially on the power play. I mean, he's got 3 goals by doing that already. So, and if you have Michael Rasmussen that can do that already, who else? No one. So, Alex Chiasson, big body. He's a league veteran. He's played over 600 games. You do need to fill your team with those types of players. The Red Wings also are a team that need to meet with cap eventually because of the players that they just traded away. So yeah, you might have to slightly overpay, but that's something that you're also willing to do so that another team doesn't swoop in and try to take him as well once he does hit the free agency market. I'm down for it. I'd give him $1 million if that meant that we can keep him on the 4th line. Maybe we can push him up to the 3rd line at some point if he does not overproduce, but maybe outplays someone else in the lineup, whoever we get that plays on that 3rd line. You never know. But that's the kid line right now. So, and I really like that line. So I digress because that's a different topic. But yeah, I would love to sign him and keep him. Derek, same goes for you, it sounds like, for the kid.
Yeah, the kid. Yep. I would love to re-sign him. I mean, like Leslie said, $1,900,000. Let's go for it. He's not going to hurt 1-2 year deal max. Keep him there. If he doesn't produce, toss him down to the Griffins. He'll probably do a lot of work down there too. So I can't complain either way.
Yeah, re-sign the kid while he's young. He's still a young 33 or wherever the hell he is. Re-sign him.
I heard that's when they truly come into their prime.
Some are saying, yeah. Everyone blossoms at a different time. Maybe he's just a late bloomer.
Really late.
That's true.
Late.
He is not wrong.
Let's be honest.
So, moving along. Continuing on with the game. Yeah, other than that, really, you're not really finding too much else involving with the Red Wings, but talking about the goal scorers for the Nashville Predators, you got Kiefer Sherwood and Tommy Novak. I think they thought Tommy Novak got the first one, and I could be wrong.
Tommy Novak, kid, like, when I saw him score last night, I was like, who the hell is this scrub that we just got scored on by? Some AHL plug. He has 28 points in 34 games. So he's just quietly been almost a point-per-game player that I think everybody in the league, probably even Nashville fans, were like, how the hell is this dude doing this? I had no clue, but he looks like he's an actual stud for Nashville, so I guess good for them. They're trying to get younger. They're selling off some of their older players for future assets, and I guess that's going to be a guy who's a big part of their future.
And that's a team that has been sneakily building through the draft as well, because they drafted the Russian goaltender, right? Yaroslav Askarov, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they love those Russians. They really do. But yeah, I'm kind of looking at his profile too now, Leslie, now that you gave me some time. I mean, he's 25, drafted in 2015, third round, 85th overall by Nashville. Late bloomer, as Derek would call him, the kid.
He's a child. He's younger than us. It's okay.
Yeah, he is.
He spent 4 years at the University of Minnesota. Wasn't quite a point per game player, but did the job. And he spent a lot of time between AHL. He played a little bit in the ECHL, and then, yeah, it looks like it's just been between the NHL and AHL. So good to see that he's actually producing in the NHL almost to a point per game pace. He's on pace for 43 points in 51 games. Good for him. Good for him.
Good job, buddy.
That was a very subtle good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, I would give him more praise if he was a Red Wing prospect, but good for him.
Zach is like a proud like stepdad. He's like, good job, buddy.
Like, you disappoint me today. Great job.
Yeah. It's like, you and Mom, we're gonna take you out to Outback to celebrate.
I wanted to go to Dave and Buster's.
You don't get Dave and Buster's. You're a stepchild.
Buster's is a fun time.
Outback. All right, moving along. The Red Wings were able to secure at least 29 shots on goal that game. Predators only put up 16, even though that they scored twice. With Husso and that, the Red Wings did convert on the one power play out of the 4, like we said. They did hold Nashville out of the 5 that they had. Faceoffs is where we got pummeled pretty good. Predators won 58% of the time, Red Wings 42%. We out-hit them. They blocked more shots. They got more giveaways than we did. So, overall about the game, boys?
I mean,
it was boring.
It was. It was a really high defensive game. It wasn't like it was bad hockey or anything. It's just, like you said, it was boring. There wasn't anything really happening. Red Wings got a bunch of shots on net, but they weren't high-quality, great shots. They were just ones that he saw coming all the way, blocked them, saved them. Couldn't do much else about that. We got the nice little kick in at the end by Chiasson, but that's about it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I almost fell asleep after the first period. That's not normal for me either.
Oh, they lost me a minute, halfway through the second, don't worry. I was kind of out of it, just searching up more prospects on the freaking page on my laptop, and I was like, oh, look at that, we're losing again. It was a great time to always look up something bad happens, either penalty or they scored. So, but in all, still, even though we lost, it wasn't a bad game. We should have won it. We had chances. We just didn't All right, we just didn't get on top of our opportunities. That's what I was trying
Didn't convert. Did not convert. No, I mean, it gave me similar vibes to the Boston Bruins games, honestly, in terms of like the defense, a little bit of roughness out there. But one thing I did notice is that the puck was bouncing a lot. Did you guys notice that as well, especially in the first period?
I did.
The ice just didn't seem like it was maybe fully there. I don't know if it was just super warm that day.
It was like there were a bunch of potholes in the ice, like, you know, the average Michigan road. It was crazy. I mean, it was like they were playing street hockey.
Yeah, so that was one thing that I noticed. But yeah, it reminded me a lot of the Boston games, just less scoring. And I expected it to be a low-scoring game, to be honest with you, going into it. I don't think I remember the last time that there was a high-scoring game against the Nashville Predators, or at least I can't remember. Someone could find that out and tell me that I'm wrong, that it literally happened like 6 months ago.
I got you.
Derek will look into it. We appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a good effort from the boys. Overall, you know, they held them down to just 2 goals. Granted, it was 16 shots, but yeah, I got nothing else on the game, to be honest. Leslie, what did you think about the game overall?
This was me. Oh, what? Oh, they scored. The horn's going off. That was me for the whole, whatever it was, first 2 periods. So, yeah, not a very exciting game. It was that typical Red Wings game where the other team they're playing against is just not pressuring them at all in their zone, and the Wings are in the zone, putting up anywhere from like 10 to 15 shots a period, and they only come away with 1 goal. How many times has that happened this season?
Yeah, what was it that you said in the last episode, Leslie? The Red Wings love to do this. When they're playing against teams like Boston, they match their energy, but then when they play teams like Nashville, they play to their energy, but lack on the end of finishing.
That is like, they didn't even really like play down to Nashville, in my opinion. They kind of just, I guess you could say, play their style, where it definitely seemed like they were more like trying to limit chances than they were getting in the zone and setting up real high danger chances. I mean, I think they ended around pretty close to 30 shots on goal for that game and only getting 1 goal. Yeah. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know, that they were really spending more time trying to limit offense than they were really just setting like a really decent chance up. So, I mean, overall, I don't really think it was a bad game for the Red Wings, but it also wasn't a good one either, because of course they would have won if it was a good game. So,
to ask you guys a quick question to go off that though as well, Leslie, what do you think in terms the Red Wings identity is, if they even have one right now? Is that what is to reflect the team that they're playing against and mirror them and then try to outscore them at that point, or just kind of like a shutdown first, then just take the opportunities as they come? Well, what is the Red Wings' true identity?
That is just the $1 million question for this season, isn't it? I don't think they have one yet. I really don't. I mean, you look at this team, they added so many guys in free agency, and of course they have a new coach and a new system and everything like that. I don't think they have one yet, to be honest. I really don't. I mean, maybe down the road they will. I hope by next season they're going to have an identity and they're going to pick which kind of lane they want to go down. Are they going to be a more tightly like checking defensive team, or are they going to let it fly on offense? I guess from seeing what Lalonde's system is and what he's described it as, I kind of see them more of being like a tight defensive checking team. Not as dramatic as like the Islanders or like the Flyers, for instance, but they're definitely going to limit the other team's chances and turn those opportunities into trying to set up their own high danger chances. I guess if they're going to go down one road, it'll be that one, because I think that's what Lalonde kind of wants to have everyone on the team, that he wants them to have that mindset while they're on the ice. So I guess if I were to pick something, it would be that, but I don't think it's there yet.
And I'll agree with that. It's Lalonde's first year, and it's not even about what's your identity this season, but it's trying to also think, what is it going to be moving forward? Because expectation is Lalonde's here for probably the long term. And I guess this is another question that I could ask. Do you see a future where the Red Wings win the Stanley Cup and Lalonde is still the head coach? To me, yeah. To answer it quickly, I do. I don't really want to go too far in depth in that, but I do believe with his pedigree coming from this Stanley Cup victors 2 times in a row, Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah. And I think that he is a coach that, or at least as a person, would love to stay in Detroit for a long time as well. However, he has to keep his trajectory and price chart moving forward, his graph. You know, he's got to keep progressing the team and himself as a coach. Eventually, a team has to move on, and sometimes a coach has to move on as well. So, but I do think that you can see a Stanley Cup victory with Lalonde, Dylan Larkin, Steve Yzerman, GM.
Oh, 100% agree on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He has a lot of experience on that end, especially coming from, like you said, a winning team. He had all the time to experience all the knowledge over there and all the experiences that he got with the team, actually being able to understand how a team plays to win. He could definitely bring that over to Detroit. And to let you guys know, the last time we got destroyed by Nashville, 2021, we lost by 6, 7-1.
Oh, boy.
PTSD.
I throw that one in there. It came up real quick. I was like, ooh, I was hoping to be a long time ago. Nope, it was only 2 years ago. Yeah, wasn't pretty.
Thanks for that one, Derek.
Welcome, everybody.
So yeah, moving along. Leslie.
Yes, sir.
Lalonde, Stanley Cup victory head coach with the Detroit Red Wings. Yay or nay?
I mean, I definitely think it's going to happen because I think that's kind of the reason that Yzerman hired him. Like, he thought he was going to be the perfect coach to lead us not only into the playoffs, but to lead us on a playoff run. I mean, you look at this guy, even just before he was an assistant in Tampa, he's won pretty much everywhere he's been. I mean, he was winning with the Iowa Wild. He was winning with, whatever East Coast team he coached. I'm blanking on it, but he won with them too. I mean, he's an effective head coach. He really gets the guys to buy in, and it's really more of just an issue of talent than it really is coaching at this point, which we were never able to say that over, 7 years of Blashill? So it's definitely a breath of fresh air, and this hire was Yzerman basically just saying, like, okay, if I'm going to hire a coach, I'm not going to go out and get one who's just going to lift the boys up and maybe he'll be gone in 3 or 4 years. I want him here long term and just to build up at his own pace, build it up right, and see if we can't go after the Stanley Cup and win the damn thing.
Yeah, this is a guy who it's hard to say with or without Steve Yzerman if he would have came here to become the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings. Eventually, when you are an assistant coach, though, you have to take the opportunity to make that jump, right? You know, You've won a couple cups, but now you want to try and do it as the leader, right? But this guy, he was the assistant coach 2002, 2003 with Ferris State. So he's very familiar with the area. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there. But no, yeah, I 100% agree with you guys as well. I think that this is someone that wants to actually be here long term. It seems like they really likes it here. Not only just for the team, but for what Michigan in a whole has to offer. Moving along, news today that Matt Luff and Austin Czarnik were recalled back to the Grand Rapids Griffins. Derek's really sad about it. So give us your thoughts.
I just don't understand these two. They just destroy it. I mean, they're not kids anymore. I get it. I can't call them that, even though one's younger than us, 25. The other one's 30 years old. I get it. You're not in your, 25 should be in your prime right now, but both of them just destroying the AHL, points on points, over point per game players, and then for some reason they come up to the NHL and they forget how to play. They've been doing it for years, like nonstop. I just don't understand what the concept is right now. They're not bad players. Like, let me pull up Matt right here. Like, holy crap. Oh, whoops. I don't know technology at all. Look at me go. But Zero got 1 goal in the last games he played with us, but it's just blowing my mind with the NHL career. Like 94 games, 24 points. Like, you're putting up 64 points and like 50 games down in the AHL. Like, what are you doing? Well, maybe not 60, but he's should be producing so much more with the levels that they're at, especially bringing it up to like our level. And even freaking Austin over here, just He's the worst one that blows my mind even more than Matt. Like, oh my god, every AHL team he's been on just destroy. Then he goes up to the NHL to play for these teams, and it's just poops out an egg for everybody. And they're like, well, send him back to the AHL and destroys again. I don't know. It's frustrating to see this, and I want them to do well with us. But when you look at this, like what they're doing, they just are not, I don't know, are they just not NHL players? Are they just AHL and that's where they're supposed to be? I don't really know, but I really want to see them produce more up for us, so we'll see what happens in the future, but yeah, I take them back to the AHL, especially right now. Not producing. Can't rely on them enough right now. Send them back down. Matt, your turn.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about two guys that were signed in the offseason with no intention of them having regular NHL roles. These were guys that were insurance policies for if there's any injuries or just any other reason one of our top 12 forwards can't play, they're going to slot in and take over for him. I don't know too much about Matt Luff before he came in, but I know Austin Czarnik has always been one of those guys that's like too good for the AHL, not good enough for the NHL, so he's just always kind of going to kind of take a bigger role in the AHL and put up points, which there's nothing wrong with that. Those guys are valuable. They're valuable to their respective teams and the organization, so that's fine. It definitely seems to me like both these guys going down would indicate that Fabbri's coming back soon. I didn't hear any news about that, but I think that's why they were in the first place. So, did you hear anything about that, Zach?
Yeah, no news yet. But that's
any news on if the game brought up.
But what I said on Twitter was the fact that the next Red Wings game won't be until Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche at 1 p.m., which I am going to as a birthday gift to me. Thanks, Dad. Nice. I appreciate it. So I'll be going with my girlfriend, my mom, my dad. So that'll be fun to see the Red Wings get clobbered in that. So yeah, that'll be fun. But I'm assuming that it was either because, yes, Fabbri probably will be ready, but also from Tuesday until Saturday, that's a long time, right? So at least Matt Luff and Austin Czarnik could probably get a game in or two at least down with the Griffins. And then worst case scenario, one of them comes up. And for those of you wondering if Elmer Soderblom was ever going to be an option, supposedly once Derek Lalonde was spoken to, I believe it was Tuesday before the game, he said that he thought about it, but I guess Soderblom is also dealing with an injury right now. So that was one of the reasons why he wasn't called up. So there's that. But so yeah, wow. I mean, he's a big boy. So I mean, he's just got to drink a little more milk, that's all. But
put some more meat on those bones.
Yeah. But for me, these two, that's what I think about it. To your regard, Derek, it's crazy to think that, the separation of the leagues, right? Like killing an AHL, but then you make it to the fourth line, the NHL. Maybe that's part of the reason, because it is that they're playing on the fourth line. I'm sure if you put them on the line with Dylan Larkin, that they'd probably do a little bit better.
I mean, I hope anyone.
But they're you're sacrificing a lot, right? Because those kinds of players, they don't have the rounded game like a Dylan Larkin does, where he could do the offense and the defense type of game, the 200-foot type of player. Those guys are more so like you're lucky to have an Alex Chiasson, who's a power play net front presence kind of guy. Matt Luff.
Off the ice real quick.
Can someone confirm for me if Matt Luff shoots left or right? And I believe Austin Czarnik might as well. So if one or two of those guys, that was probably a reason why.
Luff's a right. So,
see?
Damn, Derek's quick with it.
I got him pulled up. I can't help it. I was prepared today. You're welcome, everybody.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Often.
Well, Austin Czarnik's from Michigan. I just learned that. They both shoot right.
I think you might be right. They might be related to the chick yet you knew.
You might be. Shout out Shannon.
So,
you're probably not listening.
Moving along. In other news, Leslie wanted to talk about this, but this is something of mere importance, I would believe. Rogle BK is moving along into the next round of the playoffs. That includes fellow prospects Marco Kasper and William Wallinder. Great. I love it. Leslie, I want to hear you speak on the topic.
Yeah, well, if I said I was an expert on Swedish hockey and the league in general, I would be lying to you all. But yeah, it's great. I mean, they're in the playoff battle right now. I believe the series that they won against, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Leksand. If there's any Swedish listeners, you can correct me. But
please
I believe that was like a best of 3 series. So that was essentially like the play-in game. Like Rogle has always kind of been like, from what I've seen from the standings, they're kind of like a middle of the pack team. So it's nice that they even got a win. I would imagine not a lot of people thought they even would, but that's good. So they'll move on and play somebody. Line. I don't know who they're going to play. I guess I didn't write that down.
Somebody at least. They'll play
but
somebody.
They will play another. They will play another team in the Swedish league because that's how the playoffs work. But yeah, it's good. Oh, it's Skellefteå. Okay, here it is. They will play Skellefteå in a 7-game series. So yeah, it's great experience for those young guys over there. It looks like William Wallinder has been playing on the left side there, and give me a second here. It looks like he has about 3 points in that playoff series win, so that's pretty nice. And he's near the leaders in time on ice, so they're definitely relying on him a lot. And Marco Kasper has kind of had his. What was that, Zach?
Wallinder has 3 points?
I believe it was Wallinder. I might be mixing that up, though.
I'm looking at Elite Prospects. It says 3 games, 2 points.
2 points, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was 3.
Not bad.
My mistake. So anyways, moving on to Marco Kasper, it doesn't look like he produced any points, but he's been playing that two-way, very defensive style of hockey, and as we all know about Marco Kasper, he's a very gritty forward. So he's really been chipping in, and I guess it looks like he's been more of a role player for this playoff series. So I would like to see him take a little bit of a step forward in the next series and start chipping in some offense. But it's great experience for those guys. And if one or even both of them is going over to Grand Rapids next year, hopefully Grand Rapids can get it all together and they can have some playoff experience there. Unless, of course, they're just too good for Grand Rapids and they're going to come over here to the Red Wings, which I'll take that too. But, yeah, good news for our Swedish prospects over there. And keep it up, boys. Keep going.
I believe this is especially good for those young players. Wallinder being, I believe he's 19, maybe almost 20. No, he's 20. He'll be 21 July 28th. And the expectation is probably that both of these players, we already know that Marco Kasper is making his North American debut next season. Yeah. I think that, I shouldn't say I think, I believe Wallinder is going to make that jump as well, being the age that he is and the kind of season that he's producing right now. And then he's got 2 points in 3 games in the playoffs. This is something that's very important for young players, and this is something that they can carry over once they go into the AHL and lead that team into the playoffs. And speaking about the Grand Rapids Griffins, they're nowhere near the playoffs this season. So that's a team that needs to revamp as well. They're pretty much the 1920 Red Wings, but with more talent in terms of young prospects that need to be developed. So adding a couple more good ones in there won't hurt them. It'll definitely help them. The only issue is that Wallinder plays on the left, but I did hear rumblings that sometimes he does play on the right. Okay. So maybe that's something that they're looking to utilize in the AHL as well, because they don't have too many right-handed shooting defensemen. We have a lot.
I think I'd rather see him stay on the left because I think he's going to be a perfect partner for Mo Seider. Maybe you could play in the second pair and you want Edvinsson with Seider, but I think it'll just kind of come down to coaching and how they want to spread around that talent. But I think either one of those guys would be a fantastic partner for Seider.
Well, for someone like Wallinder, with the type of offensive production that he can bring, it wouldn't be a bad idea to pair him up with Albert Johansson, who does play more of a defensive style role, who plays on the left. And then Edvinsson with Seider. You could do that if you want the towering behemoths on the top pairing.
Are you listening to Malone? We're doing your job for you.
But I do believe that I would probably split those two up just because of that. I don't think you really need the two biggest people on the same pairing.
Yeah.
I mean, what would be your take on that, Derek? I mean, what would you think being a forward coming at two towering behemoths and then be like, hey, coach, can you put me on the next pairing that's out there? Because they're a little 6 inches smaller than these guys.
Well, I mean, it's a terrifying thing to look at. Anytime I had to face it, I'm not a small person. I've been 6 foot for a while, but I played against some defense that are 6'5" when I was like 16 years old. Looking up at them, I'm like, this isn't normal. You shouldn't be on this ice with me. I'm pretty sure you're 25 skating with us. Like, this doesn't look right. It's terrifying. You don't want
just
that.
remember that there's a string beam underneath all of that armor that's protecting him.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, you look at some of these dudes, they're like 6'5", 260 pounds now. Like,
that's a chonker.
Yeah.
that's like, what's the one dude that's 6'8" that's on our team? I'm pretty sure I looked up his stats earlier. Yeah, Soderbaum, literally 6'8", like 265 pounds. I don't want to go against that man. You know what happens if he hits me? I die. I probably would die.
It's like an offensive lineman.
Like, instantly coming at you at 20-some miles an hour. Like, no. I mean, you know, everyone else is probably used to that NHL, but not me. I don't want to die.
If you are DeBrincat or Caulfield and you see those two guys on the ice, you're probably asking for a trade that night.
It's like, please take me off.
Oh, so these guys are going to be in my division for the next 8 years. Sorry, Ottawa. Sorry, Montreal. I all of a sudden want to go play in California.
It'll never not be funny, Brendan Smith versus Zdeno Chara.
Oh,
I always picture that.
Props to him for trying, but that is
tall man versus little man.
Fun. I mean, it was a beautiful sight. I wish I kind of had that framed, actually, just to stare up at him.
Leslie, I think we know what to get Derek for his birthday now.
We do?
Don't forget.
Stilts?
I think I need that too.
So, next topic. Gary Bettman was quoted in a recent video that I was unable to watch, but the header also mentioned that he believes that the playoff format for the NHL is working just fine. For those of you that do not know, just before the 2013-14 season, the NHL revamped its divisions and playoff system. The NHL had been using a conference-based 1-8 playoff system since 1994. In 1999, the NHL shifted from 4 divisions to 6 as it prepared for a staggered expansion to 30 teams. Okay, that was a little extra tidbit for you guys there. I'm just reading whatever Google told me. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys actually follow along with what Bettman said, that it's working just fine? I guess is the best way that I can ask you guys.
Good Lord in heaven. I mean, this guy...
Leslie can go first.
Yeah. That one was coming.
This guy and just the NHL in general cannot stay out of their own way.
Try to be nice.
I will... Yeah, I'll try. I will try. I'm gonna give you the watered down version, because if I let it fly, this would be my last day in the podcast. But I mean, we've got 2 of the biggest stars in this league, McDavid and Crosby, on record as saying, yeah, this playoff format stinks. We want 1 through 8 back. And you're Gary Bettman listening to that, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, everybody loves doing this format. What are you talking about? This is the best thing ever. I don't think that all of the playoff teams and Stanley Cup hopeful teams in the league enjoy knowing who their opponent is in late November. I mean, that's ridiculous. You look around any other sport that does like a best of 7 playoff series, they go 1 through 8. Why do they go 1 through 8? Because it works. Because it makes sense. I kind of see Bettman's point of view is saying, like, okay, we can just have like all of the good playoff matchups in round 1. That way it'll grab people in and they'll be invested in watching. At the same time, though, I don't need to see a potential Stanley or a conference final matchup from, like, I don't know, Toronto and Tampa. That doesn't need to happen in the first round. If you are a top of the food chain dominant regular season team all season, how are you not getting rewarded with having an easier matchup? Why are you going in there against another team, not only in the East, but also in your division, who is also a Stanley Cup favorite? Why are we doing this? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't reward any of the hard work you did through the season. It doesn't reward any of the accomplishments you've had. It doesn't really reinvest you or reimburse you on your time spent. It makes no sense. And fans have been calling for this type of formatting to end for years and years and years. You cannot get up there every year and say, this is fine, this is working, everyone wants it this way. No one's going to agree with you. You just look like a fool.
Derek?
I just heard your computer update. Congrats. But, I mean, I get where Leslie's coming from. I get where Bettman's coming from. I mean, it's a system. It has been working. It's not the best. And a lot of people, I understand, especially from the player standpoint, they're not going to like it. Because that's two more teams that had the potential of winning the Stanley Cup that are just getting kicked out for just barely missing. And the fact that, like Leslie stated, you got the two best teams in the whole league playing each other. It's like, well, that's going to be a one fun match for, like, the crowd, I guess. It's going to bring everybody in for that one game or one matchup of 7 just to see how it goes because we know it's probably going to go to 7 games. But I just don't see the point in having only 6 teams up there. It's going to go a lot quicker. It's not going to be as enjoyable for the players of the teams that are playing, not as enjoyable for the people watching. It's just going to be 2 blunt teams playing 2 blunt teams and 2 great teams, 2 great teams. Like, spread it out a little bit. I want to see some teams actually, like, rival each other, some good teams that get some crap teams, sure. Give them a nice, easy lay-in for the next seed, like, basically a bye. Like, you deserved it. You did the best in the league. You got a little bit of a up for doing that. Good job. Why not? And if the best team gets kicked out by the worst team, holy crap, we're all going to freak out, and that's going to bring in more people. I don't know what Bettman's thinking on that end, but, you know, you got to keep the GMs happy. You got to keep himself happy. I don't know. He's just – I don't think he's thinking too much on the player side, more so on the profitable and keeping everybody he's pretty much paid for to keep happy.
I definitely, like, one compliment you could really give it, and I think this result I actually kind of like, is it promotes more competitive series. You know, there's less chance of, like, just a absolute shit-kicking, a 4-0 series sweep. I guess that's the only compliment you can give it. But just imagine you're sitting there, and you're one of either Tampa or Toronto, whoever's going to win that series, and you just get out of a 7-game war. All of your players are worn down. They're standing on one leg. They have half their teeth remaining. And their reward for winning that war is playing the winner of Boston versus Carolina. I mean, you're going through a murderer's row before you even get to the conference finals, which those 4 teams remaining, they're going to turn the gas up to 11 and just go full force at you. Like, by the time if you reach the Stanley Cup finals by any miracle, by the time you get there, you might as well be driving there in an ambulance. So I kind of see where Bettman's coming from and saying it definitely promotes more interesting matchups and it's more of a battle of attrition, I guess. But I think if you're a really good regular season team, you should be rewarded for all your hard work. And that's also not to say that if you're going up against the 8 seed, that's going to be an easy win. There's no easy win in the playoffs, but it's definitely going to be a more favorable matchup to you.
I mean, heck, as we see in the NHL this year, nothing's certain.
That's true.
Austin get their asses kicked by Toronto. See?
Yeah.
That was a crazy one right there. It's like,
yep,
anything's possible to go from losing to us to losing to Chicago. What can you say? Anything can happen.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn, Zach.
Hop in and join us.
So going off of, let's just talk about last year's first round, right? The matchups were Florida Panthers versus the Washington Capitals, Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, Carolina Hurricanes versus the Boston Bruins, New York Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, Colorado Avalanche versus the Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild, Calgary Flames, Dallas Stars, Oilers, Edmonton, LA Kings. Only one team got swept. That was Nashville. So, the rest of the series were very competitive. There were only 2 that went 6 games. The rest went 7 games.
Oh, I love that. That's why I went so late last year. Hockey for so long.
And I think that that's kind of like Leslie said. Not only are you creating, I don't agree with it, rivalries or whatever you want to call it, it just, it gives a lot to the game, and it takes away a lot from the game as well. And in terms of on ice and off ice, the players get winded more because you're going up against better competition earlier on than you probably should. But I don't understand where the players are coming and essentially crying that the first round is too hard. Like you also said, Leslie, the playoffs are hard. They're not meant to be easy. You're supposed to play your heart out no matter who you play against. Because if we have seen anything, there's plenty of teams that were supposed to be good getting knocked out of the first round very easily because they thought too highly of themselves and they didn't take it seriously towards the end of the regular season.
No.
Columbus Blue Jackets, they were a team that barely snuck in. A lot of people thought because they tried so hard towards the regular season that they were going to be tired by the time that they played against Toronto. Psych! Beat Toronto. So, for me, I don't see an issue with this format. I didn't see an issue with the last format. If I wanted maximum chaos, I would just get rid of the conferences in general for the playoffs and just make it a 1-16. Take all 16 teams, make one play 16. If you want to make it fair, do it that way. Or do a lottery. Do a lottery playoff bracket. Draw ping pong balls to see who plays who.
No, I kind of like the lottery idea, and I don't remember exactly who proposed this. I think it might have been Elliot Friedman on his podcast 32 Thoughts, but he proposed like the top players in each division or each conference. If they get the number 1 seed, they could then basically choose who they want to play. So I think that could be interesting. And what you say with like creating rivalries in the playoffs, you really just create a rivalry based on who you're playing. I mean, if Detroit's going to play Ottawa in the 7-game series, we're going to absolutely hate Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle and Thomas Chabot and whoever else is there. It's just going to happen. You play the same team 7 games in a row. There's no way you're going to come out and say, oh, we're friends after that. We love each other now. It's just not going to happen. So I think no matter what the seeding is, you're going to get rivalries. I would rather see them, I guess, happen in like the conference finals or maybe even the second round where the hockey is a lot more intense and the intensity is driven all the way up. So I think you can definitely still create rivalries no matter what the seeding is. But I do kind of hear what you're saying. If you essentially have kind of like the same, I guess, first round matchup or just whatever round it is, if you have the same matchup every year, that's going to create a rivalry, which will really last all the time. I mean, we still hate Colorado 30 years later and almost 10 years later after we've been realigned. So, those rivalries don't just go away. But I don't know. I think this format definitely deserves to be looked at, and it just needs to maybe have some tweaks to it and just kind of get under the hood and see what you can fix to make it a little more favorable to some teams. And I don't know. They can experiment with it. It's certainly been around long enough that they can make some changes and just keep it fresh. But it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. So I guess I'm just talking to the wall here.
Buddy, it's going well. Don't worry. It's going well.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to look at it this way, is that even so that you're playing some really good teams at the beginning of the first round, even going into the second round, isn't that the whole point of the playoffs, is that when you move on to the next round, is that you're playing talent that's as good as you are, if not better, in hopes that you can win the Stanley Cup? So what's the difference between playing them at the start? Just because, I'm sorry, if other good teams are in the same division or conference as you, that's not anyone's fault. You should be winning. That's the whole purpose of the playoffs. Don't sit there and cry that it's too hard to get out of the first round. That's playoff hockey, baby.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I'm not like making excuses for anybody, but I don't know. I feel like when you are that good of a team in the regular season, you should not have your toughest battle in the first round. I mean,
it wouldn't be, because you're going up against the same competition that won in the first round too. That's just on the other side. They're just as good.
No, but I'm not talking about the second round. I'm talking about the first round.
But there is no easy competition in the first round because everyone's a playoff team.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it really doesn't even matter the seeding, because I mean, you look at LA, they were an 8 seed, they went all the way to win the cup twice, and Columbus beat Tampa back in 2019. The seeding really doesn't matter too much, because no matter if you're playing the number 2 seed or the number 8 seed in front of you, you have to play that team and you have to beat them 4 times. So,
right.
I don't know. We're kind of talking around in circles a little bit.
A lot of arguments for it.
I don't think this is like,
they're not really. I'm not trying to start arguments, but like those.
No,
are,
I know.
But that's real, right? Is that like, that's the point of the
why
playoff.
you can do it, why you can't, and there's a reason. It's just gonna suck no matter what. It sounds like.
Well, yeah. Right, and that's the whole point of us having this conversation. Is like, I don't think that there is really like a good way to set it to favor. Like, that's not really what the point is, right? Is that favor the better teams just because they did better in the regular season?
Yeah, and
that's why they give all the
also kind of just like,
right?
Speaks to the game of hockey in general, because I mean, you watch like the NBA playoffs, like whoever the number 1 seed is playing the number 8, they pretty much stomp them every single time, because the number 1 seed has literally the top of the top elite talent. That just doesn't happen in the NHL. The NHL is a league where any team can beat any team on any given night. Like we mentioned it earlier, but Boston lost to Chicago last night. Like who saw that coming? You never know what's going to happen. I don't think the playoff format is like the worst thing that's ever happened. I just think that it can be tweaked a little bit to be more favorable, but even if it is more favorable, you have to play the team in front of you, and you can't just lay down and basically just not take it serious, I guess. But I think that's enough about the format. We can move on.
Honestly, I think it may
be another episode down
the round.
Because there's
but
so
wait,
much
there's
to really
more that I wanted to talk about the format. I got to ask you guys. What if this scenario happened? What if they went back to doing the best of 5 like they did during the COVID era? And then you allowed some of the better teams to sit until those other teams finished it out, kind of like how we're doing in our fantasy hockey league, where the top 3 teams sit and then the 4th and 5th seed play it out to see who is that final 4th spot.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. There's some friendly competition going on there. You get the 2 bottom teams, they get to face off. Whoever wins, it gets to move on. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Talk about creating competition and rivalries right there.
Oh, yeah, you make some pissed off teams against each other, and I'd love to see that.
Or there's even been, I've heard suggestions that you even do it kind of like how they do it in the NFL. 1 game, that's it. You're in or you're out. And I think that would like,
right there.
That would be intense for sure.
I'd watch
but yeah,
I kind of want to like agree and also disagree with you at the same time, because on the one hand, a best of 5 series means there's more hockey to watch, and I'm never going to say no to more hockey, especially playoff hockey. I don't really want to see a play-in game, a play-in series in the NHL. And I think if there is going to be one, I think 3 games would be fine. You don't really need to make it 5. But to me, the play-in game is just, it's so weird, because it's like you're playing against a team that was like a fringe playoff team, and they just did not make it on points. But, you can go ahead and play this other fringe playoff team, and then if they win, they get in. I think if you earn your spot in the regular season, you should get in.
Isn't that technically what wild card spots are?
But what I'm saying is, like, the wild card, that's already, like, that's a playoff team, but it's like they're not a divisional playoff team. That's what I'm saying. So, like, the wild card team, whoever that is. So, let's say, for argument's sake, who are the 2 wild card spots right now? They're Pittsburgh and the Islanders.
Islanders, I think, yeah.
I think so. Are you really going to want to watch either Islanders or Pittsburgh play against like Ottawa or Buffalo? Like, if they didn't do enough to get into a wild card spot and get in, I guess, essentially a playoff spot, why do they need to play a couple extra games to make sure that they can get in? If they didn't earn in the regular season, why do they get a second chance to get it again? And that's kind of the same argument I've had for the NBA play-in, but that's a different conversation because the NBA is a much different game. But I don't know. It's hard for me to really lean one way towards it because at the same time, it's more hockey to watch, but also on the other side of the coin, I don't know. I feel like the teams that have played well enough in the regular season and have earned that wild card spot to get in the playoffs, I think they're at a disservice with that kind of system.
You won't like my take on decreasing the amount of games in the regular season then.
No, Zach. I agree with that, actually. I agree with that. I think the regular season could be like at least 15, maybe 12 games shorter. Because it's like literally right around now. Like, we know who the playoff teams essentially are going to be, except for really, like, I guess the second wild card spot, maybe even the first. Like, we know who's going to be in the playoffs in both divisions. Why do we need to do, 15 more games?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just start the playoffs. Like, Florida's not going to go on a miracle run and take the 3 spot from Tampa. It's just not going to happen. Like,
no, but you get St. Louis, who goes from the worst to making it to the playoffs from Christmas time.
You do. That's a fun story.
Possibility. That's the reason they make it go so long. I can't argue. Well, I like a lot of hockey. I want to keep watching it. I'm never going to say no to more.
You can't honestly sit there and say that that's the reason why they have that many games, Derek. It's all because of money, you silly goose.
We don't talk about the money. We just talk about the love of sport.
I think I'm going to meet you in the middle here. If there's like 15 less games in the regular season and you want to put in a play-in tourney, I'm game.
Compromise. That's what we're about here.
I'll do that.
No, I'm all for like any idea. Like, I'm not stuck on like what I was saying. Like, I'm just out here spinning like the ideas I've heard, the ideas that I've thought of. Shoot, I've even gone as far as doing a playoff for whoever wants the first overall pick. Fight for Bedard.
Oh, I would love
Winner
that.
Gets Bedard.
The toilet bowl. I would love that.
That'd be great.
But who would actually get Bedard? The team who wins? So the 2 worst teams, right? Let's say who is it currently right now?
San Jose and Columbus, or Anaheim and Columbus, something like that.
It's Columbus versus San Jose. So would you rather see the team who wins that game get Bedard or the team who loses get Bedard? Because obviously both teams are going to try their hardest to lose at that point, right?
No, I'd rather it be the winner because that's one time that regular season they actually try to win. I think that'd be a lot of fun to see. And it's funny you chose those 2 teams because they literally played last night, and I think Columbus won. So it's funny you chose those.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, I left Johnny Gaudreau on my bench, and he got 5 points. So
They went into overtime. It was 6-5. My goodness,
Christ! Who are their goalies?
Dude, it could be like playoff rules. Like overtime is still 5-on-5. That would be so much fun.
Back in the old days, I do feel like the 3-on-3, but 5-on-5 I do miss a lot.
That would be honestly amazing. I would love to see that. But it's just like with the whole like regular season being as long as it is. Maybe this is just me rooting for a team that has not really been expected to go anywhere in the past 5 or 6 years. It feels like when you get to like really around now, mid-March, you're watching the games and you're like, why are we still playing? Like, we know what's going to happen. We're not making the playoffs. The only thing that's left is like if we just lose more, we're going to get a better draft pick. So at that point, why are you even still playing?
I don't know if you got anything to say, Derek, but before we move on, I will say that I do believe that if you did shorten the regular season, you could then move the trade deadline. So you're causing more chaos by doing that. Teams will offer up a lot more assets, kind of like how they do in the NBA because of that, because you're getting players for longer. And then you're also allowing players to be more fit, more focused, and more energized for the playoffs because they played less in the regular season. I don't think that you would probably decrease the number of injuries throughout the regular season by doing that. But on a fatigue standpoint, yes, the players would definitely have a lot more energy. And I do feel like that it would be a more hard-hitting type of playoff atmosphere, in my opinion, if you did do something like that. But also, I think in the regular season, I think that you would probably see a little bit more fighting going on because teams are going to be closer in the standings. You look at the standings right now. Look how close our whole entire division is ourselves with the Sens, Buffalo. You know, even if you even want to add in the other division, the Metro, it's pretty close.
Mm-hmm. It'll be even closer with less games. I mean, you wouldn't see what like Tampa's doing now, where they just kind of coast at the end of the regular season. Like they're gonna play full force every game because there's less room for error.
Yeah, then you're forcing teams like Boston not to lose against the Chicago Blackhawks because every point counts, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, in Boston's case, they're literally one of the best regular season teams ever, so maybe not, but for the rest of them, yeah, that's definitely the case.
So, another thing I guess that was talked about with Bettman and the NHL owners, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I guess another news that there is considerations on changing the time on 3-on-3 play for overtime from 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Quick takes on that? I'd do it.
I mean, why not at that point? A little more playing time. You'll possibly get rid of that second overtime where everyone's dying. But
No, there's not even not for playoff hockey. It would be for regular season hockey.
Oh, regular season.
And players are always bitching about how they hate the shootout and it doesn't promote skilled hockey, good hockey, I guess. I mean it shows skills for players, but if you're going to, all right, I guess I'll go on my little tidbit here. If you're going to do the 7 minutes, okay, do the 7 minutes. I think that's great. You're going to get more scoring that way. Players are going to get more points because you don't get points from the shootout, right? If you're going to do the shootout, get rid of all these silly, dumb rules that you can't do a spinorama, you can't do whatever, all this other stuff. Because I think that makes it a little less fun. The league needs to implement a little bit more fun.
Need a little more razzle-dazzle in those shots.
That's what they're trying to do with Trevor Zegras being on the NHL cover and doing all these dipsy-doodle dangles with his stick on All-Star game day.
Character on real life. That's all he is.
Oh, man. Leslie, what is your take on adding an extra 2 minutes?
I'd be okay with that if it means you're getting rid of the shootout.
I don't think that was part of it. I think it was just, we're just going to add an extra 2 minutes and you still have a shootout.
I'm sure it wasn't part of it, but like if it means you're getting rid of the shootout, I'd like that. And I'll even go one step further. I think you could even change like the point scale if you're going to get rid of the shootout. So you could do like regular season games there were 3 points. If you win an OT, it's 2 points, and if you lose, it's 1. So even just do it like that. And no shootout.
You change up the scale of who's winning and who's losing because there's a lot of overtime losses right now for teams.
Yeah.
That's how the Swedish Hockey League, I believe, is how they do it. They do the 3-2-1 system. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't even think it's 3. It's 3 for a win, 1 for overtime loss.
And then 2 for a win.
I'm definitely not an expert on this, but obviously no points for a loss. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think that would definitely change things up because
that'd be cool.
When I talk to people outside of hockey, that's like one of the biggest things is that like there's not enough scoring, right? But we all know as hockey fans that there's plenty of action.
You just watch the game. It's not all about the scoring.
So, but that's what the people on outside of hockey world are saying. You know, there's just not enough of it. But it's weird to say that because we talked about in one of the recent episodes that goal scoring is up. That's one of the highest that it's been in like 30 years, 20 years, whatever you want to call it.
I've had such a love-hate relationship with the shootout ever since it's been around because at one hand, it's like kind of like a fun, unique thing. Like that's just kind of like strictly only for this league. And then on the other hand, it's kind of a shitty way to lose a game. I mean, you're basically like the whole point is like your goalie better stop everything or it's all his fault that they lost because he let in a sick spinorama backhand that, of course, a player's going to pull it off because they're the only one on the ice. But to me, the shootout has always just kind of felt like an all-star game that's like just in the regular season for some reason.
In other news, Derek has something that he wants to touch on that warmed up his heart very nicely when he woke up today.
I know you told me to talk about Mo Seider, but I forgot what I told you about him. I'm not going to lie, Zach. Was it touching on the Lindstrom thing?
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's right. Mo Seider now leading the Red Wings in NHL history for most most multi-point games in their NHL career. 15 now. Kid is killing it. What a defenseman, man. Like, come on. Kid has a goalie franchise for himself, point franchise. I love it. Let's keep it going. He already beat one of our top players on our team, and he's a young little kid. Let's go.
It's crazy to believe that he's still actually not on pace to break his record that he put up in points from last season either.
I know. And it's like the kid's doing great no matter what. I'm happy he's on the team. He's just blowing out of the water. So let's just keep him on our team for a while, sign a nice contract. Let's keep him. Like he's just...
Would you guys still be happy if he put up half of the total production that he does?
I mean, he's a defenseman too. So in all reality, you're not really supposed to be a high point percentage player. Your job is back of the play, stopping them from scoring on you. I'd like to see his plus minus go way up. That'd be awesome to see. Like, I'll take a plus minus go up if his points go down. Because that means he's doing his actual job in the background, keeping goals out, keeping goals going in. I'll take it. I still keep him.
Yeah, I mean, if he was to cut down his offense by like half, he'd basically be the player we thought we were getting at the draft. So I guess we still couldn't really be too upset. He'd be Brandon Carlo. I think that's what they compared him to. But yeah, I mean, he's a defenseman first. Like if he's going to cut his point production down, but also still murder people on the ice and limit chances, I'm fine with that. Just as long as both those parts of his game don't go away.
I don't think anything's going to go away with that boy for a long time.
Not until he's like 38.
I'm cool with that. I'll keep
38. I was going to say 41 at least. I give the boy hope.
He's going to be Chris Chelios?
No, maybe I'll give him. I'll give him the Tom Brady number.
45. Love it. I think that's also the Chris Chelios number.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for tonight. We were going to do a prospect profile for the upcoming draft, but I think we could save that for the next episode.
Well, save
since
it.
We'll only have
my tabs. We'll talk about my players later. That's fine.
I tried to give the duties to the boys to see if they can come up with topics for tonight, and they definitely did their best. I'll give them that.
I say we made it 50%, and then we just threw it back at Zack and said, help us.
So, final thoughts, boys. Derek?
Hopefully we got good draft picks. Hopefully playoffs are in the dream still. I know it's maybe a 0.2% chance of us making it still, but whatever. Let's go Red Wings. Let's keep it going, boys. Keep the same game going. And I think we'll still, no matter what, be a good team at the end of the year. I love it. Go Red Wings.
Final thoughts, Leslie?
What's the next game they're playing?
Colorado.
Oh, perfect. Pummel the Avs 7-0. And I will be happy. That's my final thoughts. And the one thing I want to see in that game is Mo Seider just run over Nathan McKinnon. Whoever their best player is on the ice, find him and kill him.
Yeah, Derek, give us your thoughts on what you'd like to see in the next game as well.
Well, who's in net for Colorado on Saturday?
Probably.
How are we supposed to know it's Wednesday, my guy?
Well, who's their main goalie?
Well, I don't know. They're playing
Gorgiev?
Gorgiev.
Okay, so I want Gorgiev, and I'm going to guess who's so playing. And there's this middle part of the ice called the red line. I wanted to see them meet there in the center again. Go back.
Let's go.
Let's bring back the rivalry. beat the shit out of each other. That's all I care about.
I'm going to clip this for sure.
I think if there's one guy in the NHL I don't want to fight, it's Ville Husso. Because have you seen him like without his mask on and everything? He looks like a ghost. He looks like a poltergeist. He's got like
it's like all white and blue eyes staring at your soul. It's like, ooh.
We talk about Michael.
It can't
Rasmussen
be any scarier than Michael. Yeah, I was gonna say it can't be scarier than Michael Rasmussen's eyes, man. That man puts the fear in you, and you turn like a Ville Husso white ghost, man. I'm telling you,
Ville Husso looks like a White Walker from Game of Thrones.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh. All right, my final thoughts are: go Red Wings. I'm going to enjoy the game on Saturday, and hopefully, I'll be able to give you guys a better breakdown once we record their next episode on Sunday evening. Thanks for joining us once again, everyone. Oh my goodness, Leslie. You already had your final thoughts, my dude.
What is the Red Wings record in games that you have attended?
This will be my first one this season.
Okay, but lifetime. What do you think it is?
Oh.
Better be good.
This is good advice for the people who bet on the game. So you're doing them a favor.
I'd say probably at least like 40 to 60, maybe.
Wow.
All right, so I will fade the Wings.
So he's at 50%.
Give or take.
Yeah.
Well, that was...
My final thoughts are, thanks for letting me finish speaking, guys. I'll be at the game, and go Red Wings. And as always, guys, thank you for joining us. As always, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you joining us. For those of you returning, we appreciate you guys stopping by once again. But as always, once again, smash that like button, leave a comment, and let us know what you guys thought about this episode of Hockeytown University. Good night, everyone.
Bye.